What is Number of the Beef all about?
Well, basically, it was kind of something I put together just because I hadn't done music for a while. I started up a band with some other guys who asked me to like play bass for them. I ended up singing as well. Then I ended up going just to vocals, but it wasn't quite as busy as I wanted or like all that. So I thought, well, I'll try doing my own thing. So I put this together and
Yeah,
basically with the idea of doing covers you don't really hear that often because either they're too challenging or people just don't decide to do them. I mean, with all the covers bands you hear, there's always going to be someone playing Mr. Brightside, which, I despise personally. And there's always going to be someone playing, Kings of Leon, all that. So I was like, okay, well, I want to enjoy this. So I'm not going to play those.
yeah,
So yeah, like we set about um learning some different ones. And then with the band name that we settled on, which I was quite proud of as I came up with it, then I realized, oh God, nearly every gig we do, we have to do Number of the Beast now. So I was like, I've just
yeah,
made my life very difficult. But that was basically the main thrust behind it. And one of the songs I set for us to learn early on was Cult of Personality, which is in our set for download as well, which fits with the whole San Andreas theme. So yeah.
yeah. Well, when I first saw the band name, I did think it's an Iron Maiden band, and I even had friends of mine saying, "Oh, you're going to see this Iron Maiden tribute act," and I didn't know you were in the band at the time. and and then I saw you guys and realised, you're not just an Iron Maiden covers band.
No, no, we have learned a few, to be fair. We do know how
Yeah,
to play quite a few of their songs, but yeah, we're not a set tribute to
yeah. So how do you go about picking which songs you're going to put into the playlist?
them. Basically, well, I have a lot of control over that
Yeah,
because as the vocalist, it sort of comes down to whether I can do it well. So if like usually it's me that picks the set list, and like as long as no one else chimes in and is like, oh, I hate that song, then I'll
yeah,
just okay, well, we don't have to do it. But yeah, I usually choose them. But I have had the other guys like make a few suggestions and we've worked them into the set. Um, but yeah, it's that's near enough the process. And like me thinking like what's a really good popular song you don't hear often,
yeah.
I'd
Which
quite like to do, etc. And that's basically how it goes.
which song have you noticed get the best crowd reaction?
Um, Number of the Beast always gets good reaction, especially now I've learned to do the scream.
Oh,
Um, I didn't used to do that. I used to stand off it because I was just like I could do it, but the only way I knew how to do it was basically wrecking my voice every time. So I was just
yeah.
like, you know what, maybe not. Then I worked on it a bit and got to the point where I'm like, no, no, I can do this now.
Yeah,
Just
I
yeah,
was thinking that I watched a live video of you guys on YouTube earlier on, and I thought, oh, I didn't do the scream. So that's interesting to know actually.
no, I've yeah, I definitely do it now. So yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of knew I had to at some point I needed to learn it, but I
Yeah.
just didn't want to jeopardize the rest of the set by going all out doing it and then just being like for the rest of the time.
That will definitely be one for download then.
No, it's not on the San Andreas set. So the set we're doing for
Oh
download is themed on the Radio X playlist from GTA San
yeah.
Andreas.
And that's not part of it. Oh, I
That's not
get
part of
it.
it, no. So basically, all the tunes within the set are mostly all from Radio X from GTA San Andreas.
Yeah. I remember playing San Andreas, but I don't actually remember what was on the radio.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite hip hop focused, the game. Um,
Okay.
but that being said, the rock soundtrack to it was really great. Like, so on the Radio X, you had Rage Against the Machine, you've got Helmet, you've got Jane's Addiction, Faith No More. Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Ozzy, Guns N' Roses. So there's quite a lot in there that we know how to do, and there's like a couple of odd ones like we've never. Well, I didn't think we'd end up ever covering Jane's Addiction for a start.
Yeah.
So we didn't think Caught Stealing. There's also Depeche Mode, Personal Jesus, which is a very odd song to play with all instruments and with barely any synthesizers, but we've managed it with samples. And we've looked up a couple of other versions of the song, like Marilyn Manson's covered it and Def Leppard have covered it.
Yeah.
So we sort of looked at those a little bit and just were like, okay, well, we can sort of use these elements to make it a bit more suited for us.
Yeah.
So that's how we
Okay.
sort of get around it.
Yeah, that sounds like an interesting set for sure. And
Mm.
obviously now we've mentioned you're playing Download. When and where can people find you there?
So we're on the Thursday around lunchtime. I mean, I could say stage time, but I'm not sure if that'll be subject to change because festival lineups often are.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're on the Planner app and all that. We should be on around lunchtime on the Doghouse stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, as part of the District X. Well, the great thing about it is captive audience with everyone that's there for the weekend. They're just like, if they're there and they're like, oh, I want to see some music, then hopefully they'll just wander over.
Yeah, exactly. Because the main arena won't even be open yet by that point.
Yeah.
So
Well, I saw pictures of the 900 from last year when they played it, because they did the same stage, and yeah, it looks absolutely rammed.
yeah. Oh, that's going to be great. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I think the rest of the boys are pretty nervous. They couldn't quite believe it when I told them. I mean, I still can't believe it myself. Considering what I mean, last time I played it, and I think that was in fact the last time I went was 2015. And
Yeah.
yeah, I was pretty certain I'd never be back there again in a playing capacity. Like maybe if I worked or something like that, you know, I'd be back there that way. But yeah, it's sort of still quite daunting that, you know, I'm going to be back there, but this time I've not got an instrument to hide behind it. I'm going to be singing to everyone. So yeah.
Do you find
See
that
how
a bit
goes.
more scary singing rather than playing an
Yeah,
instrument?
yeah, I think so. I think there's there's less leeway because like you're basically the lead instrument along with the lead guitar. So like there's no hiding
There's
behind
no
anything.
hiding. Yeah.
No, although we do have our drummer who's a very good vocalist, probably better than I am because he's actually had like proper operatic training and all that. Whereas I have not. My voice is the product of me singing along stuff in the car for a few years.
Yeah.
So I've learned some pretty good stuff from him, and he's an amazing vocalist. But I've not had the proper training.
Yeah, but you sound good. I've seen you live, so
I mean, I keep being told I am, and people keep paying me for it, so I'm going to keep doing
there
it.
we go.
I think I had one comment on one of our Facebook posts saying, "Oh, singer sucks." I was just like,
Oh,
"Oh,
well,
okay."
there's always one.
Yeah, there's going to be a critic everywhere.
Yeah, all the time. Is the way of the internet these days.
That it is. That it is.
So, do you think further down the line you envisage Number of the Beef ever doing any records of any tracks or anything, or videos?
I think the idea has been put about. I mean, it would literally just be covers. Although
Yeah.
I know a couple of the other guys would like to do originals, but I'm sort of kind of done with originals myself because I know how much more work you have to put in as an originals band. And I mean, I really respect anyone that still does that in this day and age because it's much more difficult than it was even when
Yeah.
Maleficus were going. Right, even to the point Charlie Emmons from the Mez, he lives in Newbury, and I spoke to him recently, and like because the Mez are doing quite well. And I said to him like, "Oh, how are things going?" He's like, "Oh, great, yeah, we're doing this show, that show, up and down the country." I was like, "Oh, have you been to Europe yet?" And he's like, no, that's quite expensive to do." And I was like, "Oh yeah, because when I was doing it, we could literally just hop on the channel and go and play a show on the continent. You have to go through a lot of rigmarole now and pay a lot of money to do that." So it's like, yeah, cheers, Brexit.
Yeah, exactly. The world has definitely changed a lot. I was speaking to a local band just before this interview, and they were saying how they're basically just going to put out singles. They're not even going to consider EPs or albums because, you know, the way of the internet, there's no point. Unless you're a huge band like Bring Me a Horizon and just go, here's an album, they can do that.
Yeah.
But everything else is just fast content, isn't it?
Yeah, like there's our friend's band Revenant. They've been releasing a lot of videos, and all they've been doing is basically new single, new video. and then they've recently released their EP, but they've sort of drip fed it, which has worked for them quite well because they've constantly had new stuff to put out. Like I can't remember the intervals they're putting out. I think it was like every month or every like 3 weeks, something like that. But then they
Yeah.
recently released their album, like which coincided with our gig with them last Friday with the 900. And that seems to work for them really well. And they're picking up quite a lot of momentum already, which is great because they're a really, really great band. And yeah, it's weird how you're having to make these things kind of work these days, and
Yeah.
rather than just like, oh, we're putting an album out, and everyone's like, oh my god, let's get it. And
Yeah,
now
you
it's
have
kind
to,
of
you
like,
actually have to base it around content. It's like
yeah,
you don't put out albums, you put out content. Because
yeah, it's
what
very
everyone's watching
bizarre.
and listening to, yeah.
Yeah, it's very bizarre how it kind of works now. But full credit to anyone that still does it because it looks like it's much harder work than it was.
Yeah, I mean, well, in a way though, anyone can start anything they want. If someone
Mhm.
wants to start a band, a publication, a radio station, the world is your oyster, do it, you know. So whereas I think even 10 years ago, I think there just wasn't as many people breaking through and setting up things like
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, there is that. Yeah, I
Oh,
suppose
sorry.
so. Hmm.
So what's next for Number of the Beef?
Well, we've got well, we've got shows to announce post downloads. Fill up the calendar. We're doing Face Bar again at the end of the year, supporting Mortalica. So that'll be great. We also have a potential new package, sort of loosely based on what we're doing at Download, which we might take to a larger market sometime soon.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the main thing will be the boys learning the songs I set for a lot of the time. But then myself having to learn these songs as well. But yeah, I think the main focus is going to be, well, we're going to have some downtime after Download because I've drilled them hard for this show.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, we've needed to just go in the practice room and just do this set over and over and over, and basically eat, sleep, drink that set.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's a massive opportunity, and I'm still bewildered that we have it. So yeah, I just want to make sure we make the most of it, and then from there, yeah, we've got some plans. So it'll just be have a look out post download, and we'll have some interesting.
Yeah. And what's your tip for festival goers at Download this year?
Um, bring sun cream and bring a raincoat.
Yeah. You don't know
That's
where it's gonna go, do you?
literally it could go anyway. Like I'm seeing at the moment that the site's apparently quite muddy and waterlogged, but there's been a lot of rain there, so hopefully it'll dry out. But yeah, you've sort of got a pack for all occasions. I think you can rule out snow, but I mean, you never know.
Well, you never know.
Yeah,
Yeah. I've not seen it yet, but you never know. I think it hailed during Slipknot once.
I remember a Sonosphere. It rained during Psychosocial, which was amazing. Like
Yeah.
I remember all standing there, and then it was just like we were playing that and just looking up. And was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm
Yeah.
getting wet, but this is awesome.
Yeah. And you definitely can't survive without wellies at
No,
Download. It's just,
no, otherwise you're going to get scalped.
even if it looks like it's going to be the sunniest weekend ever, still take wellies because you just
Yeah,
can't survive if it does rain.
literally. And then if you don't, then you're going to end up paying 50 quid for a pair from one of the stores because they will put
Yeah.
a mark on it right away.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, we're really looking forward to seeing you at Download.
Thank
And
you.
thank you very much for talking to Ramsey.
Thank you for having me. We'll see you there.